Welcome to Caribbean American News Media State of the Nation with Garfield Oliver. News report. Let's get to work.
Welcome to the Caribbean American News Media Show, your premier destination for in-depth coverage, engaging discussions, and entertaining segments showcasing the rich tapestry of Caribbean American culture. Join us as we explore a wide range of topics, from current events and community spotlights to arts, music, cuisine, and more. Our show features exclusive interviews with influencers, artists, community leaders, and everyday heroes who are making a difference in the Caribbean American community. Stay informed and inspired with our thought-provoking segments that highlight the diversity, resilience, and creativity within our community. Tune into the Caribbean American News Media Show for a captivating blend of news, entertainment, and storytelling that celebrates the Caribbean American experience. Get ready to discover new perspectives, celebrate successes, and connect with the heartbeat of the Caribbean American community. Don't miss a moment of the action. Stay tuned to Caribbean American News Media Show for an immersive viewing experience like no other. Hashtag Caribbean American News, hashtag show, hashtag cultural celebration.
Well, a special good night to, all our viewers here on Caribbean American News Media Platform. It is a pleasure to be with you. We are not too organized tonight, but we want to welcome you to the platform. We had some system failures, very fatal to the platform, and we're hoping that we can get our system upgraded once again so that we can fire on all cylinder. We had a massive delay tonight on our platform. I don't know what is happening to the system, but I'm sure I am hoping that it is not someone attempting to sabotage or to hack our system, but we have a major failure on the platform tonight, but we are going to move forward with the live program, the live feed. I want to wish everyone a beautiful evening. You know, it is Monday. It is Tuesday. Yes, once it is Tuesday evening, it is Caribbean American News Media Platform. Please share the live and tag a friend. It's very important tonight that you share the live and you tag a friend. We are still trying to upload some of our visual clips for tonight's program, but it is a challenge. We had a guest that was also booked, and so we are. This is all the technology for you. I am hoping that we can have a backup system, a backup computer, in order to get our streaming going more efficiently, more effectively. All right, so share the live and tag a friend, folks. We are on. It is, I am not sure if we're going to quash it defeat tonight, but nobody's going to hold me here after 10 o'clock tonight. Not again, sir. To our viewers there on GVD TV, channel 115 Flow, we want to greet you. We want to welcome you to the platform. We are live on GVD TV. That is channel 115 Flow. We want to thank the management and staff of GVD TV for bringing this program live to you. We are entering some other markets very shortly. I have some very big news concerning Voice of America, but I would wait for those final agreements so that we can have our debut. So please share the live. Caribbean American News is here to stay. I am proud to say that Caribbean American News has been recognized by the city of New York and the federal government. I would explain that to you at another time, at another place. But we are a fully functioning media platform officially here in the United States, and so we are not only a Facebook broadcast network, we are much bigger than that now, and we're hoping that we can impact more lives throughout the Eastern Caribbean. We'll be spending a lot of time dealing with national security, the security of the region, the Caribbean, and how it can be improved, what can be done. We also will be looking at energy independence there in the region, all that to come sometime this year, while focusing on the elections in St. Vincent and the Grenadines that is due this year, and the elections there in St. Lucia that is constitutionally due in 2026. So please share the live and tag a friend. We're on. Folks, we could not have gotten our Black Rant uploaded tonight. It was not uploading. I'm not sure if it was too long or the file was too big. But we could not have gotten the Black Rant up, and I do apologize. I will post it on the platform later, God's willing, tonight. But share the live and tag a friend. For those of you who are viewing us through our YouTube channel, we want to thank you so much. Clive is always there over in Grenada, and all our beloved brothers and sisters there. Those of you who are on Facebook, I want to greet you and encourage you to share. Amen. All right, so let's get to work, folks. We have a lot to go through. Tonight, we're going to go through the New Spin broadcast today. I was in class. I took a break for lunch and saw all hell broke loose on New Spin today. And so I thought that I would just continue with that program. We heard that Mr. Richard Frederick did call into that program. Dominic Fede and also Rosh ran into the studio in order to deal with some matter. And I will give you an analysis of the paralysis according to my friend Norbert, the late Norbert. I'm going to share with you some of my concerns. I'm going to share with you my analysis of that, those interactions today, and we will have a balanced discussion on that whole situation there in Castries, at Castries Central, where where Mr. Richard Frederick, he is the minister there. In St. Lucia. So we will look at the New Spin clip, and then we will also look at Mr. Frederick on a whole. He's now known as Barabbas. The question tonight on our platform is Barabbas or Rosh? And I would tell you, somebody got a rush today. And I don't know what in the world is going on, but we are going to dissect. We're going to take your calls. We look forward to hearing from as many of you. This is no time for you to cower, to hide. Call the platform and share your concern. Just let's talk. Let us talk. And I keep saying to you, friends, that those of us who are in the diaspora and we're speaking on your behalf, it is we are doing you injustice. You are doing us injustice when you do not call the programs, when you do not share the programs, when you do not interact with us, when we do not get the information that is necessary for us to represent you. And it sounds as though you guys take us for granted and think that we must be talking all the time on social media or on television on your behalf. But you have a responsibility to stand up when you see wrong, speak up when you see wrong. And I'm not asking you to go out there and commit crime and start creating enemies with each other. I'm asking you folks to get involved in these discussions, get involved. And I'll tell you why I'm begging you to get involved, because there are many. Let's look at just the United States elections. Most Christians, especially my people, said, well, this is worldly and we don't get involved in politics, or Jesus is coming and blah, blah, blah. And right now, all of them, they're running to and fro, they're calling lawyers, they're doing all sorts of things, and they're saying, well, look at what Trump is doing. Well, you were silent. You did not vote. You did not get involved. Why are you complaining? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You were not involved. You did not exercise your constitutional right as a citizen. You told everybody to sin, to speak about politics and to discuss the issues in the country. and you are so Christian that you go into your walls, your shell, peeping through a window to see if Jesus is coming tomorrow. In the meantime, he says to you, occupy till he comes, respect the authorities of the land, render unto Caesar the things of the Caesars. And in order for us to live down here as Christians and as human beings with dignity and freedoms, we got to get involved. We got to speak up. We got to speak up when we see the poor being marginalized and heavy weights are being added to them. Crookery, in other words. Governmental robbery, if that's a word, through taxation. Lack of opportunities. Because you're not connected to a bourgeois or a politician, then you are just left there. And we as Christians, we sit down and we just, let's pray, Jesus is coming soon. But we don't understand that until he comes, we got to occupy. We got to have freedoms until they're taken away from us. We got to have clean waters. We got to have clean, safe roads. We got to have departments to ensure that the airlines are safe. We got to ensure that we can get to a hospital. We got to ensure that our society is at a place where it can still function, where we can still have the freedoms to speak, the freedom of expression, the freedom of association, the freedom of worship. And until the church realize that we are doing our people a whole lot of injustice by sitting on the sidelines and tell them that this world is not your home when they are still living here, and they got to live here some until we die or until Jesus comes. And who will protect us from bad medications? And so that's my rant, and that's just my introductional rant for this program, is that there are too many hypocrites. There are too many who want the benefit, but they don't want to get involved. They want to sit on the buses, but they do not want to protest. They want freedom to vote, but they want to stay behind their church walls. And all of them now, they're in their minds, they're cussing Mr. Trump. Their own family members are living in fear. Own church members living in fear. And we got to be real. And that's why a lot of people can't take me, because I am not the realest Christian, but I'm one of them who believe in reality. And the reality is that I got to go on the train. I am hoping that there's some regulatory body to protect me when I get on the train. I'm hoping that I can get some consumer protection when I go and buy your product and it ain't work out or it poison me. So, brethren, we got to live down here. But we got to live down here as though this world is not our final destination. And this is not our final abode. But we are pilgrims. But pilgrims pass through. And when pilgrims pass through, they either pitch a tent, either build a house, they either plant a vineyard and hope to reap it. You got to survive. Jesus had to be taken, to be counted in the census. Taxes had to be paid, although these religious leaders were robbing the people, even in the sanctuary, stealing all their monies, until Jesus came and he turned the table upside down because they were robbing the poor, victimizing in the name of Jesus. And here in the United States, no different. All the evangelical movement, the radicals, have given their power to a man that have all their own people living in fear. You know what it is to live in fear when you put yourself in your own, you jail yourself. In other words, you lock yourself out of society because you're afraid. No one should be living in fear. And you Christians, you enjoy the idea that, Trump say you don't like gay and there's only two gender. To hell with that. We all know that there are two genders. It's either you're male or female. It's either you have the balls or you don't have one. That's natural. That can't be fought. So you vote for him because of that, but you forget all the ideas he has in his head now. He wants to close down the Department of Education. Elon Musk is in the White House with powers that he should not have at all as a tech giant. Access to people's personal data, personal information. The whole world wanders after the beast. But tonight I'm going to ask you, Barabbas or Rosh? Let's get to work, folks. All right, folks, so we're back. We're going to get to work. To my friend, Brother Sotter there in Dennery, I want to greet you. How are you, my brother? And to all those who are locked into the platform, thank you so much for being here with us. Again, that was my rant. I spoke from my heart, and, I make no apologies when I speak from the heart. When I speak from the heart, my heart is not in my chest. My heart is in my head. Yes, my heart is in my head, where I reason, I think, I feel, I have all my emotions, the levels, the control of my emotions up there, my ability to reason and to feel the pain of others, not in my chest, in my head. Yes, but thanks to my chest, that at least blood can go up there and help me to think clearly. But hey, what can I say? Anyway, let's get to roll. Let's get to rolling, folks. All right, so, oh boy, all hell broke loose today. Barabbas or Rosh. We're going to go to New Spin. We're going to go to New Spin, and then I'm going to share with you some old clips that I found that will just have us to start a conversation tonight about politics in the Caribbean, politics in St. Lucia, and the bamboozling of the minds of the people, especially those whose heart is in their chests and not in their head. Yes. So we're going to have some strong reasoning tonight. And for those of you who are calling, nobody's going to set me up. Please be mindful of what you're saying. There's a whole lot of people out there wanting a piece of us. So don't give them a piece of me or a piece of anybody, because I'm not going to have it, okay? So tonight when you call, I want you to be respectful. I want you to mind your words. Remember that I'm a Christian, and therefore I must not act. I don't want to act. If I want to act, I go to Hollywood. But let us just be mindful that I'm a Christian, and whatever I do, it must reflect my Christian value. So when you call, be mindful of what you say. If you don't know what you're saying, don't say it. If you want to ask a question, I can encourage that. This is a platform for it. But don't say what you don't know. Don't come here and say this one is a thief, this one this, and this one that, and this one is a murderer. All right? If you want me to give you a lot of time tonight, please don't put me through all that. I don't have any hair on my head. All is gone now. I have a few brain cells. I'm still functioning some cells. Some screws are still there. Yeah, after what I heard today. So if you see me acting a little weird, just know that a few of my screws left today, finally pecked out today, listening to the New Spin program. By the way, I want to congratulate Timothy on a job that he's doing that I think it's something that if we had more journalists, more media houses doing what he's doing, we would have a better country. Politicians would have more respect for the people, but he's one of the only ones out there who are holding the fort, who are holding government accountable. Although I believe that he could have asked Mr. Buddy or Mr. Barabbas, he could have asked Mr. Barabbas some more questions. He could have pushed him a little more, but he did not. But I have great respect for my buddy Tim. All right? All right? Jorella, no, I don't have to turn the show into a Christian show. It is a Christian show. And I was just asking people to respect the idea that I'm a Christian. And there are a lot of stuff that I don't get involved in and I don't practice. All right, folks? All right, so let's go to Newspin. We'll be back and forth with Newspin, dissecting, breaking down. While we're doing that, we'll accept calls and, and while them is here. Remember, folks, I always say to you, righteousness exalt the nation. But sin bring reproach, it bring destruction on the nation. And remember, when the righteous rule, the people are glad. And when the wicked rule, the people are sad. Let's get to work, folks. So let's go over to Newspin. All the credit goes to Power 97.9 FM, Newspin with Timothy Polio.
At the time of leaving office in 2021, Tim, the United Workers' Party, while they were saying that tourism would never come back, don't forget that, the Prime Minister said that we had the confidence in the people of St. Lucia. We had the confidence in the destination of our country and the strength of the St. Lucian brand. And what we did, we went about, Tim, we convinced the airlines that now was the best time to fly. And out of that, we saw an unprecedented level of airlift coming into the country. So much so that our recovery in the U.S. market, our leading source market for tourists, recovered by 75% within 6 months. So we left the minister a great foundation. So now he is trying to say it took him 5 years to build the other 25% and only increase it by 3%. So he has only put on some 28% of recovery since 2019. So it really is shocking, and it is a
So this is concerning. This is Dominic Fede, one of the leaders in the United Workers' Party, having a conversation with Timothy concerning tourism, and we all remember. But what the Prime Minister said, that Alan Shastney under this government basically was the only government that believe that you will have bounced back, and we'll have a conversation on that too. I want you to call in because it's a reflection of his short-sightedness, and that's why the airports are where we are today. That's why the airport in St. Lucia is underdeveloped and it is stuck in gear. Yeah, because of lack of vision. And so when these guys see something that looks like success or an increase in some sector of the country, they get surprised, they get shocked, and like, but look what we did. It's like they don't do the maths, they don't understand, they don't do analysis, they just go, like your regular zombie, a zombie, how they operate. You just wake up and you just go to the next house or the next mango tree you want teeth from, or whoever fowl you want to teeth, you just get up and go. You don't care whether the fowl red, black, or pink. You just go out in the morning, no plan. And so you get shocked when you get too good fowl for you to go and cook or sell somewhere to some other thief. Because once you buy stolen stuff, you're a crook also yourself. Anyway, let's go on.
Channel member to subscribe. We are also on the Newspin Facebook page as well. So we deal primarily with facts and not.
Someone says, "What I am."
So what's up, Tim? Our Paul. Good
Just
afternoon, Newspin. You are on the air. Hello.
Good afternoon, Tim.
Yes, good afternoon to you, ma'am.
Tim.
Okay, that's Dr. Fletcher. We just trying to get
in politics. Once you can imagine,
expect a heavy.
This, if you do not have the proof.
Okay, so here it is, brethren.
All right, we have somebody on the line via the WhatsApp. Good afternoon to you. This is Newspin. You are on the air.
TV, what's up with you?
Good afternoon to you, sir. I see you was trying to get the line early on.
Yeah, I was. And I need to ask you a pointed
Minister Frederick.
I want to ask you a pointed question because I did not hear, and I always like to get it from the horse's mouth. Did Dominic Fede on your show call me a criminal?
Well, he said that you have been accused of being a criminal by the St. Lucia Labour Party operatives and government ministers. Well, let's put it this way, operatives of the St. Lucia Labour Party, and you are now part of the SLP administration.
He said I was being accused, and you sure those are his exact words, eh?
Well, you could listen to the tape, but he also made reference.
So, folks, let me just pause for a while, because this is Barabbas or Buddy. Listen. So you call into a national program to ask the host if somebody said something about you. I want you to just pay attention to what is happening here. Now, he has his right to call in to the show and blah, blah, blah. But I want us, we have our right to analyze and to have a discussion on this whole New Spin program today. So he calls into, and this is Barabbas Buddy, calls in to ask the host if somebody said something about him. I didn't hear it, but somebody did. The person say. So just listen to the whole story. So did Dominic call and say that I was a crook, that I'm a criminal? Did he call in, Tim? Is that, yeah, you sure? Did he say that? You sure? And this is these are ministers of government that should be focusing on the criminal deportees that will be coming to the country, the lack of rice, the global crisis that are before us right now as a result of Mr. Trump. Yeah, instead of these guys spending all the time trying to figure this out, they are busy calling around to ask if somebody said something about me there. Somebody say anything about me? Yeah? No? Okay, let's go. Listen for yourself.
Which have been linked to you several years ago.
Okay, I'm not listening to the tape, Dominic, TP, but I'll tell you this. You can make reference to what you want. A criminal is one who carries a conviction for criminal wrongdoing. Okay? And insofar as I know, this Richard Frederick that I know does not have anything, an iota of any conviction that seemingly carries the semblance of criminality. And if you want to refer to an incident, then fine. But to bring it into the realms of criminality and to refer to me as a criminal, I just want to say this to Dominic Fede. I will say to him, expect a heavy retort on Thursday. A very heavy one. Because you see, TP, sometimes you permit the lion to sleep. And when the lion is asleep, you don't wake the lion.
Okay, so the last time I checked, folks, this lion Buddy was not asleep, of course. No, Buddy was not asleep. Because it was just moments ago, maybe this weekend, that this so-called sleeping lion went after Mr. Maynard again. And we know that the attempt that was made on his post was an attempt to mock, to laugh at, to simigwin with, to form the fool with a situation that people do not play with, death. And you would think that the so-called sleeping sleeping lion would have some humanity and just allow the family to lay their loved one to rest. It's not your business whether he's buried tomorrow, next year, or 2 years from now. The technology is there that the family can decide to bury him 5 years from now. But that's not your business, of course. But you're being malicious. Malicious. And that is the problem with what I would consider. There are some people you can just look at them and you know that they're narcissists. They look for their trouble, and then they turn back and become the victim, and they cry foul. Oh, look what they're doing to me. I didn't do anybody nothing. I don't do anybody nothing. Look what they're doing to me. Oh, and they always point at the wrong people. They always point at the wrong people. So the family have not laid the brother to rest. And this man is trying to jab the party, and you read the comments under the live, and you realize that your country is in a very bad state with the mentality of your people. And may I tell you the truth? So I heard some people saying, well, they're waiting for you to send the money, and Shasney and the party, and all kind of what mature people would consider to be nonsense. Well, I would say garbage. Of course. But Buddy is here playing like he was a sleeping lion. And somebody today, out of the blues, went and wake up a sleeping lion. The same sleeping lion who exposed, by the way, just a few weeks ago, exposed personal information of a deceased. The same sleeping giant who just mentioned Mr. Shasta's name 160 times in 1 minute. That's the sleeping lion. Raw. And so the giant, the lion, the lion woke up today to roar against the rush of fresh air that appear to be coming over to Castries Central. But listen to Barabbas, buddy.
I'm Fede rapist. Or I will not call him one who has impregnated a girl below the age of whatever.
So this is what you call technical mépris. We're going to break it down, folks. Let's speak the truth tonight. This is what you call technical mépris. I will not say that you raped a girl. I would not say that you impregnated a young girl. I would not say that you stole. I would not say that you do this. In other words, it is what you call technical mépris to keep me out of court. Technical mépris to keep me out of being accountable for what I'm saying. Do you understand what I'm saying? But you would not expect technical mépris like that, the level of the technical mépris, of course, to come out from the St. Lucia Labour Party. You would not expect the St. Lucia Labour Party to be identified or associated with technical mépris. Because if an underage girl was impregnated and Barabbas or anybody else knew that and they did not report it or dealt with it at the time, it means that these people are bad influence in our country. Because if you know you have evidence of a crime against a young child and you hide it or you hold it for technical mépris later on, then I would say that we have a bunch of out of control men in our nation. Yeah, I would think so. But let's listen, folks. Let's listen.
But those are things. There's a tape with Dominic Fede, and I will be playing it, where he told him, and I gave you this, I gave you that, using state funds to solicit support. I don't go down those routes. But if Dominic Fede believes that I am a tree he can climb TP, you know me already. I will defend my turf. And to tell me, I'll tell you this, Timothy Podium, and I've said so again and again and again and again. You see, politics, if politics was totally devoid of subjectivity and too much highly opinionated utterances, politics may have been a good discipline.
Mwen pas sa pou maji beti sa. Mwen pas sa pou maji beti sa.
So, folks, I pause to breathe on that because I could have almost make myself believe that I heard Barabbas or Buddy saying that politics would have been better if all these things would have been out of it, when Buddy is the chief offender, the number one when it comes to that level of discussion in the political arena. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so we have a call. Let's take this call. It's early, but we're going to take the call. Caller, you're on the air. Caribbean American News Media Platform.
Good evening, Brother Garfield. How are you doing?
Try to figure things out.
You have a very good show tonight, Brother Garfield. I like that everyone is on the ball when it comes to these crooked politicians. Brother Garfield, I will segue a little bit from your subject.
Talk to me.
I'm here because, a lot of things are coming to mind, brother, with all what's happening in the country and listening to these politicians. And one thing that came to mind today was 1996, my brother.
1996. Talk to me.
Yes. When a particular politician came to the realm of the Labour Party and turned farmers against themselves. My brother, I am here to tell St. Lucian, people in the diaspora that have families that live in St. Lucia, I urge you all to warn and tell the people, ask the people to take heed. And people need to look after their interests. This has happened before, brother, and I've seen it happen again. Brother Garfield, this Labour Party has done nothing but taken every resources from its people and give it away. It happened in the privatization of the banana industry, where farmers were promised better days, my brother. They were promised that. Today I hear that one pointing their hand on this, that one pointing the hand on that. There is no other person to point hand on but Kenny Anthony and his administration, which is the Labour Party. We need to stop being hypocrite in this country, brother, and call a spade a spade. You cannot come and privatize an industry that was doing so well. Yes, maybe there were some things that needed adjusting. There was some, some resources that were being mismanaged. Maybe a little bit of wastage here and there. Yes, I will agree with that. But brother, you promised the people better days. You promised that when you privatized that industry, that farmers would be doing better than they were. I am saying all of this to say what is happening with our ports, Brother Garfield, is the exact same thing that is going to happen. That happened. The exact thing that happened with the banana industry is what is happening with our ports. You give somebody a well-oiled machine that is making money. There is nothing wrong with the way the banana industry was being run, like as if it was in the red. No, it was in the green.
But what was the strike all about, caller? What was this strike all about? What was the strike all about?
Brother man, the strike, the farmers, if I remember clearly, banana farmers were being told that they're supposed to get more for selling their bananas. And there were lots of promises that were being made as to it's better if they take the banana industry away from the government. So that would cut in terms of the cost of managing. So it would bring more money in their pocket than all these people that need to be paid.
Right.
And there was something of the saying that government basically is stealing from the farmers.
Right.
So Kenny promised the farmers that they will be making more money when the industry is privatized. So you will cut out the government with that department that they have, that they pay all those guys to do nothing, right? That's the argument that they were making. But my brother, we all saw what that happened. We saw it, and this is what's happening. SLASPA is a government entity, right? SLASPA is well equipped to manage the port, do whatever it has to do with the port. It's been doing it since its existence. However, here is another one. Philip Pierre, which was, how do you call it? The minion for Kenny Anthony at the time. He's now in charge. He's taking another one of our major assets again to put it in the hand of a company. Now, mind you, the company was public before. However, when it took over the port, it became private. Now, who's to tell you these guys didn't know that the company would be private? They would have to know, because they do not want the agreement or anything that is not supposed to be out there. So what's the best way to hide it? Have the company private, so the company is not obligated to any scrutiny, any information out there to the public. They're not responsible for information to the public because it's all private now. These guys are setting up the country every single time they come in office, brother, to fail. I'm telling you, they're setting it up to fail. And if you look at it, these at every time that this government is coming, a labor administration is formed, it's always formed on the back of making poor people think that they will get out of poverty. That's always the belief. However, where have you ever seen that happen? Because if it happened realistically, what will they run on next campaign, my brother?
Question.
What would they run on next campaign? And it's high time solutions realize this is what these guys are doing. Now, I am not here to say that maybe when these politicians leave office that they will get kickback from those deals that they make while in office. However, my brother, if they are in there and you can see all those so-called corruption being take place, where they don't even want to be transparent and to be held accountable as a public servant, right? You mean to tell me is when they're out of office, you're going to know what deals that they have in there? That time they don't owe you anything because now they don't work for you anymore.
No.
And we need to be careful. And I'm telling you that, brother, this is something I think we really need to pay close attention to. Why is it we have such good assets and every time, these things have been passed on to private personnel. And you know what they do, my brother? They run it dry because they will take everything they can get out of it. And then they will leave it to you. You see now, the banana industry, it's back to government. Government have to try to get this. Government have to try to get that. People want government to do this, to do that. If it's privatized, why the government have to do anything for you?
That's right.
You understand? Why does the government have to be responsible for the fertilizer that you get? Why does the government? You're supposed to go to the person that is you selling the bananas to.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Mm-hmm. But no, politics, my brother. And I'm telling you, you see that tourism industry?
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying it today. And I know it is recorded. So it will be in the archives when it comes. You see, if those guys lose that election, the next target is the tourism industry. Because remember, Philippe Pierre started attacking it a bit by saying Chasney is the only government in the world that thinks tourism is going to be back as it was before COVID.
And that's why they thought the airport was not a good idea.
That's what I was coming to say.
Mm.
You can see the attack already on cutting the size of the airport.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They don't want... Which government that is in office that finds such a good project, and if they can finish it for the people in the 4 years that they have or 5 years in office, they wouldn't finish it and show the people
not only good project, but a needed project. Imagine you're boasting that you have a beautiful country, you have the best tourism products. But yet, tourists are coming into an airport where they got to walk through the rain, walk through the sun. They got to get wet if they're sitting in the waiting area at times. They're coming into a basically lapidated and outdated airport system. And that's what they see first. First impression is always lasting impression.
Right. So I'm saying this for people to wake up. Guys, we really need to pay attention to what is happening. We were told that the enemy of the state is Alan Chasney. And if I have to be an enemy of the state, I would want to be an enemy of the state like Alan Chasney. Because Alan Chasney's vision is to build this country like no other island in the Caribbean.
And I agree with you. I don't understand how he can be the enemy of the state when the man have always had a bold vision for the development of the country. I don't understand.
I will tell you how.
Uh-huh.
I will tell you how. Maybe lately you haven't been paying attention to St. Lucia. My brother, St. Lucians have a tendency to support a lot of things that are wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And they justify a lot of things that are wrong and criticize the person that is doing the right.
Mm-hmm.
I know that for a fact. I am not asking questions on that. This is a fact. My brother, you will find a young man going to school. He speaks good English. He's always well kept. Even if his parents are not wealthy, but he tries his best to hold himself as a nice young man. And the few guys that the hair is never well combed, always on the street and they don't meet that grade in school or anything like that. Those are the most popular guys in the school.
True. But I got to go, but yeah. Yeah.
That is the level of what we as a nation, we support a lot of the things that we know it's not good, but our hypocrisy, we go with it. Thank you, my brother, for your time.
Yeah, thank you so much for calling. Thank you so much. Let's take a break and we'll be right back.
At Great Vision Designs, we value our customers and provide cutting-edge customer service. Great Vision Designs specializes in television broadcasting and live streaming of funerals, sports events, weddings, meetings, shows, and more. Call us today at 722-6542 or 726-9914 or follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Great Vision Designs, coverage you can count on.
All right, and we're right back. We have a call on the air. Caribbean American News Media Platform. Caller, you on the air.
Good evening, good evening, good evening.
Good evening. Can you hear me, my friend?
Oh, yes, I can hear you loud and
It
clear.
looked like you went to the technician to get that phone fixed.
And you're not going to fall asleep on me.
Yeah, Alison, you don't know how it go already. You don't know. Go ahead.
Yes. I would like to add my 2 cents to the broadcast.
Go ahead.
When it comes to the selling of our state assets, this usually takes place with the SLP administration, right?
Yeah.
Now, the reason why these fellas go after our assets is because they never helped build the nation of St. Lucia. So they have no love for the country.
They don't appreciate what they see.
They don't appreciate, they don't know the amount of toil our forefathers toiled to get St. Lucia out of adult suffrage to turn it as an independent country for the citizens to survive in it. They don't know the meaning. They have no love. That's what I can see with these people. To see you take our ports, that is one of the assets we have in St. Lucia that was bringing in revenue to our country, to our economy. $40 million a year. Every year, that's annually. $40 million, and to see Philippe have never raised a nail to help nobody in St. Lucia, to help the country itself. What do you think? Giving somebody 2 pieces of plywood, you help them by giving them 2 pieces of plywood to face on their house, to put on their house, just nearly quickly.
So, but are you onto something, especially with the ports, Alison? My question to the Labour Party would be: was there a problem with the folks who were managing it before, the locals, SLASPA? Was there a problem?
No problem, because Mr. Chasset told us there was never no problem. He told us again that Point Seraphine, and we all know that it was SLASPA who built Point Seraphine. We can take care of our business. We don't need these Russians to come and interfere in our business.
Who built the arcade? Who built the arcade in St. Lucia?
All that is St. Lucians who did that. That's SLASPA's work. That's our work. That's our hard men and women hard work. Just like Sir John built up Conway there. That's how the waterfront, the 4 buildings that are there. Sir John Compton did that. So what happened to us? We cannot build our work and our efforts by ourselves with our citizens, our laborers. What is wrong with that?
And I even have a lot of confidence, even in Mr. Renault, that if they had given him the contract, he would give him a state-of-the-art port. Even Renault, who's local, could have done great work for SLASPA, for the people of St. Lucia. We have basically given away a port that were bringing in millions of dollars, had no major issues to say that it was about going into bankruptcy or there was some financial issues in the place. All I can say is we have a knee-jerk government who do not plan for the long run. They don't plan for the future.
Brother Gabriel, let me tell you that the St. Lucia Labour Party has no love for our country. And I am going back again with the caller. He stated the banana farmers, the banana industry. Kenny Anthony actually used the farmers to destroy their livelihood,
Yeah, they destroy themselves.
That's a man that don't have no love for a country and its people, just to come after John Compton, who worked tirelessly to take out our country from adult suffrage, to bring it where it is there. Kenny Anthony came down in 1997. Or let's say he did it maybe not 1997, but 1996. Caused havoc in that industry. We call it green gold. Can you imagine somebody coming and destroying your livelihood under you? And you tell me that person have any love for our country?
And you know, the farmers, Alison, the farmers were still not satisfied that they had a prime minister who himself had a farm and would have been familiar with the struggles and everything that they would have gone through under the banana field. He was a farmer himself selling bananas, and they had no appreciation for that. They listened to a guy who never planted a fig in his life.
He never planted a fig. And he went to the university, educated himself from a young man coming up, and he used this education on the ignorance of the people. And up to a day like today, that is how Labour continue to hold on to power in St. Lucia. Because they know the people are uneducated and they cannot think, they are ignorant. Even those that call themselves the bottom feeders, that call themselves educated, they too are ignorant. They are ignorant of the fact that their mind cannot even go beyond seeing St. Lucia in a position, standing by itself, standing tall as a tiny island with international standards. They cannot picture it. It's not that these people do not want to see St. Lucia looking great, you know. The fact is that the Labour Party always come in with the analytic strategy to mama guide the people. And what they do from 2020, when Alan Chasney was in government there, you think the Labour Party didn't know all what Mr. Chasney was saying was correct, all the phrases that he used? But what they did, they used the analytic tactics to work on the ignorance of the poor people, like when he said backing dogs and all these things. Rick was tired of explaining that to us.
What about when they said Mr. Chasney, they say like to insult St. Lucians, call them backing dogs?
Exactly.
But that's nothing new. That's nothing new to the country.
Speech. And if the people of St. Lucia cannot understand that, well, Kwapo smoke their pipe.
Well, but to shaky happy, mwamem kaidi mash.
Exactly. And I'm going back to the courts again. Labour Party has no love for our country. Where was Ernest Hillel when Sir John was toiling with Sir Michael Chasney and the other founders of that country?
True.
To put St. Lucia on that path to prosperity.
But while you're talking
where
about...
was Ernest Hillel? Where was Sean Edwards?
Right.
Where was... Excuse me?
While you're talking about founding fathers, right? Those who helped to develop the St. Lucia. Do you know, I was looking at the life of Michael Chasney. Michael Chasney would have been a far better prime minister than this guy we have right now, Philip Juppé. Do you know that? Do you believe that?
Excuse me, come again.
I'm saying I was looking at the life story of Michael Chasney. And I believe that Michael Chasney, at his age now, would have been a far better prime minister than Philip Juppé.
Brother Garfield, a toddler would do a better job than Philip Pierre. You want to compare?
You're pushing it,
to Philip Pierre?
Yeah. No, I think that Michael Chasney...
you know the amount of people Michael Chasney has employed and how much money Michael Chasney, from Michael Chasney, have pumped into St. Lucia economy?
Well, I heard he saved the government of St. Lucia many times.
Please don't stoop so low to bring the gentleman in that day class A arena. Okay? And I am going back to these people again. Where was Ernest Hillel Anthony, Alva Baptiste, Sean Edwards, Wayne Girard, Joachim Henry, Emma Hippolyte, Miss Wiggins from Babono, I forget her name. Lisa Joai, Monday Lewis. Where were those people? You know, if these people were around and they just raise a little rock and put beside our walk, or put some Baba Green, raise a bucket and spread some Baba Green on the ground there, they would never allow and stay there and watch Ernest Healy with that CIP thing going on in St. Lucia. Watch this man give our port away. Our state asset that was bringing revenue to our economy, $40 million. $40 million. And I heard the pain in Sir Michael's voice when he said that hurt him. My God. And they have St. Lucians that are supporting the nastiness, the wickedness that this party is doing.
I think they have.
Government.
I honestly don't believe that they thought this through about this whole deal. And any professional, as far as I'm concerned, accountants or anyone who is in finance will look at a deal like that and would just caution the government against it, because to me it doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound, I mean, it sounds like trying to fix a problem that doesn't exist, and while you're fixing it, you're just giving away all your money to another individual. You have the money in your hands. You have an asset that can bring millions and if not billions of dollars, if properly developed, into your hands. You brought in a company, basically give it to them for 30, 40 years, say to them, they say to you, don't touch Vieux Fort, give us Soufrière. And by the way, the lady said she got a sweetheart deal in Soufrière, but I heard that the government had to temporarily fix part of the Soufrière wharf or whatever it is, but we have a signed contract with GPH, of course.
Listen to me, Brother Garfield. You see the people in St. Lucia, your tooth movie.
I don't think so.
Every single one of them are wicked.
I don't think so.
Garfield, let me tell you something.
Mm-hmm.
All right? If St. Lucians were ready, you see that spot, you see Ernest Hiller. He was the one, and I'm going to stress on him.
Mm-hmm.
He and Philip Pierre gave to these Russians behind our back on the eve of a jazz opening, or was it a carnival opening, where everybody was drunk and they couldn't stay focused, and it never came into the news.
Mm-hmm.
All right? That alone should have had St. Lucian irritated and just go out there and have these people to take our pot back under these people and put it back in the hands of the St. Lucian people. Okay? St. Lucians, when I watch them, a set of wicked people that is just sitting on social media, bragging away, and Okay? We're going back again, the same SLP again.
Mm-hmm.
They say that Mr. Shafne gave Theo Hakim passports and all kind of crap like that. That is not true.
We have
and they know that very well it's not true.
Yeah. We have another call coming in, huh? So go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Whoever is on the call, just give me a minute or two.
Okay, go ahead.
When Mr. Shafne went down to Beaufort with that DSH deal, remember it was Kenny Anthony. We have all the documents there. Kenny Anthony and Philip Pierre, they are the ones who signed that deal. Okay?
The DSH, right?
Nothing. Excuse me?
The same DSH that they campaign against.
Yes, they are the ones who brought DSH here. Kenny Anthony was the one who brought Theo Hakim. Tell him, bring Theo. That's what I want their supporters to do.
Mm-hmm.
Tell Kenny Anthony or Philip Pierre, bring Theo Hakim to court or do something. Take Theo Hakim to court and call him a liar. Well, they brought it. Kenny lose the election. Mr. Shafte and UWP, they went on with the deal. Okay? A piece of land that is that thick cows, goats eating grass, not bringing no revenue into the country. Well, we gave it to CO. We rented. They say it's $1 for 99 years. We would be cashing out of it.
Well,
Plus, we
it's
would have
better.
come with the investment
It's
with,
better than giving away
with
the wharf.
The investment with the Beaufort wharf and everything like that. Then Beaufort would have been blooming.
Yeah.
But the wickedness again of Kenny Anthony. Because you did not win the election, you stabbing an international businessman in his chest. Because you did not win the election, you stabbing an international businessman like that for no reason.
Well, I think
Kenny Anthony has to pay for what he did to St. Lucia.
I think the GPH deal got to be reversed. No matter what phase it's in, it got to be reversed.
And Barabbas, I wanted to take on Barabbas, but you say you have another call coming.
Yeah, I have another call, and then we have not even gone halfway into Barabbas yet.
Okay.
But I will take Jesus as any time over Barabbas. Okay. All right. Call you on the air, Caribbean American News Media Platform. What's on your mind?
No matter what phase it's in.
Call you on the air. Okay, so let's try to reconnect with this caller. I don't want to start the next segment and we miss that caller. All right, so let's reconnect. System reconnecting. Thank you, Allison, so much. Always passionate for her country. All right, so we have a number of stuff coming in at the same time. So if you are sending your information, messages, and whatever you're sending, just bear with me. I can't get to all of them. I can't get to all of them. So let's go over until we can get these calls coming in at 929-586-1821. Let's go over to the clip that we were playing from Newspin earlier.
Told them, and I gave you this, I gave you that, using state funds to solicit support. I don't go down those routes. But if Dominic Fede believes that I am a tree he can climb TP, you know me already. I will defend my turf. And to tell me, I'll tell you this, Timothy Podium, and I've said so again and again and again and again. You see, politics, if politics was totally devoid of subjectivity and too much highly opinionated utterances, politics may have been a good discipline designed for the betterment of the people. But sadly, everyone has an opinion. Everybody believes he or she is an authority on this or that. And everybody believes they can say whatever they want about others with total impunity. Dominic Fede is not a St. Lucian. He was not born.
Okay, so Dominic Fede is not Dominic Fede is not a St. Lucian, and here we go. The same politics that we're trying to correct, he's trying to correct, Mr. Barabbas. Now he is switching to a kind of politics that is divisive, it is dirty, and it doesn't make sense. One, if Mr. Buddy understand the laws and the Constitution of St. Lucia, Mr. Buddy would know as a lawyer that Dominic Fede have every right to be in St. Lucia as any other St. Lucian. Buddy would know that, just like his people or any other friend or whoever he has in the United States or any other part of the world, they also have constitutional rights as citizens of United States, Canada, plus citizens of St. Lucia. They too have rights to be here. They can vote for a president. They can get involved in the politics of the country. And for me to hear Buddy, who sometimes make you believe that he know it all, and he's an authority on everything, basically, he's saying to the people of St. Lucia that a man who sits in the Senate, a man who is considered to be the leader of the opposition business in the Senate, one who was the minister of tourism. Now he's saying that the man is not a St. Lucian, which means that St. Lucians, the system in St. Lucia failed, and they installed a man in their Senate, which is illegal, who is not a St. Lucian. And Buddy is talking about misinformation and just... Reverend, I don't know what to say. No, the calls are coming in. Let's take this call. Caller, you on the air, Caribbean American News Media Platform. Caller, you on the air.
Yes, Garfield.
Yes, sir. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Good night.
Night. Go ahead. I'm hearing you.
It's amazing to see the amount of time, phone time that you give your colleagues on air.
Well, I give everybody phone time. Go ahead, sir. What's on your mind?
I'm just listening to the program then. I'm listening to especially your last caller and then probably the one before. And I'm saying to myself, it's amazing how you guys refer all the way back to Sir John, and you refer to Sir John and Sir John and Sir John. Why don't they refer to the... Why don't they refer...
You there, caller? Reverend, let's hold. It's an interesting call. Let's hold. He's reconnecting. Having internet issues. Is having internet issues. Okay, so I want to hear this caller. He's reconnecting. So we're going to wait for that call. I want to hear this caller because the caller started first telling me I give my people time to talk, a lot of time, and then he said you all going back to John Compton. So I'm trying to figure this out. I would love to engage that caller so he can always call back. Cleo, just give me a minute, because I want to take this call. So Cleo, if you're hearing me, I know you're trying to call. I'll connect with you, but I want to hear this individual. But let's play this clip until he calls back. I'm very much interested in what he's saying because this one is going to be a little interesting. The start was I give my people airtime, and they went back, way back, John Compton, and then he ran out of something. I don't know what he ran out of, but let's hope that he gets back the minutes or the internet connection so that he can call us. I really want to hear from him. So Cleo, just give me some time and I'll hook back with you. I'll hook back with you in due time. All right, my friend? All right. Again, yes. So let's go back over to the clip.
St. Lucian by birth. Who is Dominic Frederick to come and attack me in the land of my birth?
But Sir John...
So Buddy is losing his mind because someone who he considers to be a foreigner, not a St. Lucian, is challenging him in the land of his birth. And like I said to you, friends, like I said to you, this is, you got to listen closely, and I want you to reason. First of all, the man is saying that Dominic is not a citizen. Dominic is a senator in the country's parliament. Dominic served the government of St. Lucia. If Dominic is illegal in St. Lucia, then we got to deport Dominic back to wherever he comes from. So the minister is establishing here that Dominic is not a St. Lucian. It is illegal, my friends, to serve in the Senate and you're not a St. Lucian. It's illegal. So I would want Buddy to refer that to the public prosecutor or whatever you call him, so that Dominic can be punished for not being a citizen and sitting in our Senate. So this is how funny it gets for me here on the platform. But let's listen a little more. All right, it gets even more interesting.
And everybody believes they can say whatever they want about others with total impunity. Dominic Feder is not a St. Lucian. He was not born here. He will never be a St. Lucian by birth. Who is Dominic Feder to come and attack me in the land of my birth?
But Sir John Compton, but Mr. Frederick, Sir John Compton was not born in St. Lucia.
Sir John was born on the sea.
All right, Mr.
Sir John was, hold on,
Mr. George Mallet was not born in St. Lucia. He's born in Panama.
Sir John was born on the sea, and Sir John's next port of entry was St. Lucia.
And George Mallet was not born in St. Lucia for sure. He was born in Panama.
I'm not sure of that.
No, I'm sure.
But I'll tell you this, and I say it without fear of contradiction. Up to this day, I still admire Sir John George Melvin Compton. And I say it without fear of contradiction, and I say it without reservation. Sir John was a St. Lucian at heart. When I tell you a St. Lucian, Sir John was the man. When I sat with Sir John said to me, Minister Frederick, you enter in politics. There are certain offices you don't play political football with. He mentioned the Governor General. I could never forget. He mentioned certain, imagine when you had guys like Skeet, who never supported Sir John. Sir John said, in the interest of national development, we have to use the best expertise that transcend the...
Hold a minute, folks. It got interested because Mr. Righteous Buddy is pulling some chords there, you know, and he's speaking righteousness. That's what he's speaking, righteousness. He's saying, look, there are certain offices within government that you don't play with, and no government in politics in the country, no position of power should any man play with. None, whether it's the housing ministry or education or crime, no ministry you play with. And let me ask Mr. Buddy, seeing that he's so righteous, right? We'll take a lot of the calls are going crazy, I know. You know, let me just silence it because it is coming through really rapido. Okay, so, all right. So, you know, we'll take the calls. They're coming in really fast. I'm going to start taking all the calls very soon, all right? So, here is one, Mr. Righteous Man, seeing that you are in the government of the St. Lucia Labour Party. Remember when they were walking out on the Governor General, Mr. Snag? Yeah? They were walking out and... you know, every time he goes in, they turn their back and they walk out. They wanted nothing to do with him. Was that playing? Was that playing with the institution of government, with political officers? Was it righteous to do that, friend? Was it?
That was the man. That was a man who was nationally oriented. That was a man who believed in the interest of the people, not politicizing everything. But sadly, we have a totally different situation now. If you don't support me, you're against me. Irrespective of you not having the ability to discharge certain functions, they will tell you you are not a supporter. And when I came in TP, I was in Flabo. I employed Arthur Charles, did his job with such professionalism that when I got the opportunity, that if the Prime Minister were to give me an opportunity, I don't know who is or who is not responsible. I came into politics, but this man discharges his duty with such professionalism that if the Prime Minister were to give me an opportunity, I would leave him there for life. Because certain jobs in this country should transcend the political divide. But sadly, those guys don't understand that. Look at Benny Manuel. Benny Manuel was stabbed sick with the last administration. He was there. Today, he's chairman. He's chairman of the OKU board because he is a consummate professional, and that is what you need.
But let me ask you. Let me ask you a question, Mr. Frederick. That's the final thing I'll ask you. The label as being attached to you, all right, of being involved in criminality, etc. Don't you think that you could look to the Senusha Labour Party? They are chiefly responsible for this.
You're asking me? No. Let me just say this, team. I don't know who is or who is not responsible. I came into politics.
Okay, so let's hold this here. So you heard Tim asking Barabbas about the charges against him, and he said he don't know. Tim asked him, is it not the SLP, the same Labour Party who did all that to you, assassinate your character, said a lot of stuff, a lot of accusations, spoke a lot of things against you? Was it not the SLP who did it? He said, no, I don't know. I don't think. Okay, so bear with me, folks. Bear with me.
Calls for his resignation for over a week. After resisting calls for his resignation for over a week, Housing Minister Richard Frederick has finally quit. He made the announcement in a recorded statement on Sunday night.
In the meantime, and to spare my colleagues further distractions from the important work on behalf of the nation during these especially difficult times, I have chosen to reconsider my earlier public statement and resign from the Cabinet of Ministers effective Monday, 26 September 2011.
But the former cabinet member would not go down without swinging. Frederick took a number of swipes at the opposition, who he continues to blame for the latest controversy. Without mentioning their names, he accused former Attorney General Philip Lacobiniere and former Senate President Hilford de Turville of a campaign to destroy his reputation.
It is no secret that from the moment I declared my candidacy in 2006 in the Castries Central by-election, I was vilified. Leading members of the opposition took vicious aim at me from their political platforms and from official perches hidden from public view.
Reports indicate that Prime Minister Stephenson King had given Frederick until Monday to tender his resignation after a number of his cabinet colleagues expressed concern about the ongoing embarrassment to the government.
I will survive with the support of the people of Castries Central. I am still at a loss, though, as to the reasons for the revocation of my visas, although I believe that what done in the dark will one day be preached from the housetops.
Frederick promised to continue representing Castries Central as long as electors wanted him to, and expressed unwavering support for the Stephenson King government and the United Workers' Party. Reporting for the DBS News World, I am Clinton Reynolds.
So, we just found out there, folks, that the question that Timothy asked Buddy, and Buddy said he don't know, back then he knew. You want it for yourself.
Mwen pas ap wèm maji beti sa.
So,
mwen pas ap wèm maji beti sa.
Mwen pas ap point too, but hold. You got to hold on to what I say. Uchekli? But Timothy specifically asks Buddy. Yeah? And he said no. He don't know, he don't think, he don't, and then he went all over the place from the time he went in and blah, blah, blah. And I want you to listen to the question again, folks. Listen to the question again. Listen. Kute.
Look at Benny Manuel. Benny Manuel was stabbed sick with the last administration. He was there. Today, he's chairman. He's chairman of the OKEU board because he is a consummate professional, and that is what you need.
But let me ask you a question, Mr. Frederick. That's the final thing I'll ask you. The label as being attached to you, right, of being involved in criminality, etc. Don't you think that you could look to the Senusha Labour Party? They are chiefly responsible for this.
You're asking me? No. Let me just say this, team. I don't know who is or who is not responsible. I came into politics. I made money by being a criminal lawyer.
Okay, so Buddy didn't answer the question. He said he don't know. But I thought I just show you. Let's go back again.
After resisting calls for his resignation for over a week, Housing Minister Richard Frederick has finally quit. He made the announcement in a recorded
Folks, I don't know if it's the same Richard Frederick. You all got to guide me whether this is Richard and the other one is Buddy or Barabbas. I don't know who it is, which one. You guys will have to help me, and I'll tell you the truth, I'm a little confused.
In difficult times, I have chosen to reconsider my earlier public statement and resign from the Cabinet of Ministers effective Monday, 26 September 2011.
But the former cabinet member would not go down without swinging. Frederick took a number of swipes at the opposition, who he continues to blame for the latest controversy. Without mentioning their names, he accused former Attorney General Philip Lacobiniere and former Senate President Hilford de Turville of a campaign to destroy his reputation.
It is no secret that from the moment I declared my candidacy in 2006 in the Castries Central by-election, I was vilified. Leading members of the opposition took vicious aim at me from their political platforms and from official perches hidden from public view.
Reports indicate that Prime Minister Stephenson King had given Frederick until Monday to tender his resignation after a number of his cabinet colleagues expressed concern about the ongoing embarrassment to the government.
I will survive with the support of the people of Castries Central. I am still at a loss, though, as to the reasons for the revocation of my visas.
Well, no longer to be at a loss. You're in the cabinet. They can give you all the documents and show you why. And I am sure you could ask Mr. Prime Minister to give you some chastening. He's not the one to give it to you. You got to ask Buddy. You got to ask your friend over there, Philip Japere, to tell you why they took away your visa. It was them who took it away, Kenny Anthony and the St. Lucia Labour Party. They're the ones who were involved in all the accusations. I'm just reminding you, buddy, just giving you a refresher, because I don't know which one of you I'm talking to. You understand what I'm saying? I'm a little skeptical, confused, to say the least. I don't know which one I'm talking to you, but one of you who were on the screen knew who did all the nastiness. One of you knew. But there's one of you who don't know, and that's the one who I heard today. You don't know. I don't know who you are. But if you are Buddy, then I'll tell you need to ask your buddies in that place, all right? I have one more.
The opposition leader Dr. Kenny Anthony claims in 2005 the SLP administration granted Richard Frederick concessions for 4 villas in Marigot Bay under the Cricket World Cup accommodation project. It was part of sunset legislation that expired upon completion of the World Cup. Dr. Anthony says then a private citizen, Frederick met the requirements.
We gave him 50% relief of vendors' tax and property tax, 100% waiver of import duty and consumption tax on building materials.
Dr. Anthony alleges on April 10, 2006, his administration agreed to extend the concession to May 31, 2007, and the new United Workers' Party government reset the deadline to December 31, 2007. The Cricket World Cup Accommodation Act expired in 2007. Now, despite this, the opposition leader alleges Richard Frederick, now the housing minister, this year sought an extension of the concessions for the villas under the Tourism Incentives Act. Dr. Anthony claims the documentation shows the process took just 1 day.
They lie so much. Frederick applies for the concessions on the 18th. They did the cabinet conclusion the 17th of June, the day before.
The opposition alleges detective work by the staff of the Ministry of Tourism unearthed details that changed the course of events.
And when they investigated, they then found that of the 4 villas, 3 of them had been sold. It makes sense now, right? It makes sense now, right?
Dr. Anthony charged the cabinet upon receiving this information decided to grant concessions for only one of the 4 villas at a meeting on July 17, 2009. The opposition leader says that decision was eventually revoked in August 2009, this month, following the judgment in the now infamous Tuxedo Villas affair. But Tourism Minister Alan Shastney disputes the opposition leader's claim that 3 villas were sold. Alan Shastney believes the matter is a non-issue, saying the Tourism Ministry exercised due diligence in the matter and the minister has since paid the duties on the properties.
Since when he had constructed it, he had sold 2 of the villas, and he still had 2 villas. He had 1 villa that was already up and a second villa. Cabinet's interpretation or thought at the time was that the fact that the concessions could be given on the original concession, and all we were doing is proposing to extend the period. But on further investigation by my ministry and information that was provided by my ministry, Cabinet decided not to go in that direction. But long before even that had taken place, Richard Frederick had already brought in his stuff and paid his duties.
The opposition took to the market steps Thursday night to ratchet up support for a national protest in the city of Castries on Thursday, September 3rd, 2009.
Mon passe après Major Betty ça.
So it was. Reverend, I just play those things, those clips, to show you that it was the St. Lucia Labour Party. The St. Lucia Labour Party, all those you see jumping under the live and cussing flubos out and shashday t-shirts at that, they are the very ones. Those who are jumping now, you know. Yeah, all those who are jumping, yes, I'm serious, yes. Y'all make me sound like the Prime Minister of St. Lucia, Mr. Pear. Yes, yes. Yes, it's not us, it's them, yes. That is them, the same set of people. All those you see cussing people out and insulting people, they are the ones who spread the worst of the worst against this man. And all of a sudden, today, Buddy don't know who was causing him all those pains, sleepless nights, and all the other things that he said he almost do. Folks, you understand what I'm saying? Yes, it's them. We didn't make him. It is them who make him. It is them who make him. The same them who are saying to us now that he's all righteous and he's the best thing for us. The same ones who are jumping, and Kenny Anthony asked them to protest on the market step. He asked them, the same those who are jumping up right now behind Mr. Buddy, they're the ones who are marching against him.
Mon passe après Major Betty ça. Mon passe après Major Betty ça.
Now, if I was them fellas, because a lot of people commit sins against you, crimes against you, and they just keep their mouth shut and smile with you, laugh with you, give you a piece of bread and cheese, and make everybody else feel that we're good. No, if you, the SLP, lied against this man, call him criminal, call him all sorts of things. He's the worst of the worst. If you guys brought Mr. Buddy to a place where he was even crying night and day, whole koi pate bon, whole commissariat pate bon, est-ce que pon sa mukati whole ko bugla pate bon modo ideka hele uten sa nado ideka hele because of memse moun sa ki ka jiwe moun ki ka victimize moun ki ka di moun ashay maji. Right now, these are the ones who were marching against Buddy. So according to the Prime Minister, in the Prime Minister's voice, but it's not us, it's them. I mean, it's them. It's them. It's them. So now a whole lot of people are repeating what they said about Buddy. You know how this can be fixed? You know how we can fix this? The St. Lucia Labour Party need to document an apology to Buddy. I said it. They got to apologize to St. Lucians if they lied on the brother. If they misled St. Lucians on this Buddy. They owe it to the people of St. Lucia. And until they come to the people of St. Lucia, the ghost of Buddy past and Buddy present will continue to hunt them because they are now in bed with the same Buddy that they were marching against, they were protesting against, that they went all to Barbados, U.S. Embassy, and they said a whole set of stuff about him. They got to publicly stop all St. Lucians from looking at Buddy a certain way by issuing a statement, a public statement, saying that we lied to you, the citizens. All we wanted was to get in power. Everything we said about Buddy was a lie from hell. We are sorry. We took first communion. We took all kind of penances, and we went to the priest, and we confessed, and we're good now. Then the people of St. Lucia would change course, and they would see Buddy differently. Let's take this call. Caller, you on the air, Caribbean American News Media Platform. We're going to take calls now, okay? Go ahead, caller.
Hi, good evening, Pastor.
Yes, sir, I'm here. How are you?
You suggesting that the Labour Party should issue an apology to Buddy Barabbas.
Yeah. Publicly.
I think they should go even further.
Talk to me.
And I think they should accept his application to be a member of the party.
Okay, so that's a form of penance. That's a form of rewarding or paying back for their transgressions, their sins.
I think so.
By accepting the sinner in the camp?
That is what he wants more than anything else.
I thought what was he wanted more than anything else, what he wanted more than anything else was his visa.
No.
No?
Buddy wants to be part of the Labour Party. He has said it publicly. Wondering why there is a delay in not accepting his membership to the party.
Well, they got to tell not only Buddy, they got to tell the people of St. Lucia why. Or why not?
Well, they know why.
Mm-hmm.
And until they do that, Buddy, because you see, he's been the attack dog for the party.
Oh.
All that bravado, all that public statement and trying to bust a vein in his neck is to get acceptance. The poor fella is not loved. He's looking for love. And one way that he thinks that he could show him love is to accept him. But I don't know if you are aware.
Mm-hmm.
If you are aware, Pastor Garfield.
Talk to me.
the Labour Party carried out a poll. It's maybe about a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Among the grassroots of the party.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently that poll revealed that the grassroots wants neither Stevenson King nor Buddy Barabbas as members of the SLP.
Wow. That's serious stuff.
So, yes. So you see, Buddy does not have a political home. And that is what the guy is fighting for. And I am telling you, if you see they do not give him a membership and he does not get to contest the upcoming general elections on an SLP ticket, he's taking everybody down with him.
You think so?
Oh, yes.
Because Buddy seems like somebody, once you path with him, he's going to get you.
Well, that's the guy's nature.
Yeah. Once you stand up to him,
everybody down with
him. Once you stand up to him, he don't like that. He that's my assessment looking in. He will spend a lot of years coming at you.
Yes. But long may it continue. Let them fight.
Mm-hmm.
I am watching from the sidelines. Good night, Pastor Garfield.
Good night, brother. Thank you for that call. All right, the other callers, we're taking all our calls now. We're going to give you a few more minutes on the platform. Makawite long, but let's try to hook up with some of the calls that we missed earlier. I see a number of them queued in. Let me just bear with me, folks. Those of you who are trying to call, you can try it back now. I'm just trying to see where I can start from. Okay, good. Somebody is actually trying to come in. Just bear with me. Let's see what is happening here. Let's take this call. Caller, you're on the air. Caribbean American News Media Platform.
Good evening, Brother Garfield.
Yes, sir. Greetings to you. How are you?
And good evening to your listeners and viewers around the world.
Mm-hmm.
Brother Garfield, I followed the National Labour Party town hall meeting this evening in Otsa.
Oh, they had one in Otsa?
Yeah, there was a Southeast Castries town hall meeting.
So you're our correspondents for tonight. So we're going to let you give us some updates. What did you hear?
And I almost jumped from my seat. And I thought, no, serious, I thought I was hearing, I needed a hearing aid.
Mm-hmm. What was going on?
Philip Pierre came on the podium, on the platform, and he was talking about the crime and UWP celebrating crime, you know, the usual theatrics and gifts and security.
Mm-hmm.
And they went on to say, they say that when Alan Shasta gave him recommendations, that he threw it in the garbage. You know, Philip Pierre said this evening that he never said that.
Well, I have it in my clips. I will find it.
I want you to find it if you can and profit the opportunity to play so that the world can hear that I think I'm not crazy, you're not crazy, and like they said, 1,000 Frenchmen cannot lie. Everybody heard that Philip Pierre came publicly last year and he said that he received recommendations or suggestions from the leader of the opposition
he threw it in the
and
garbage.
that the leader of the opposition was not in good standing and he threw it in the garbage.
Yeah, I remember that.
Tonight at this said town hall meeting that Philip Pierre is saying that he never said that. He never made such statement. So I want you to play the clip so that the world can hear of a liar Philip Pierre is. I told you I almost jumped when I heard that.
I will go. I'm going to search for what you just said there. I wouldn't be. I wouldn't believe the Prime Minister, honestly, to tell you the truth. I don't think the Prime Minister would make such a statement. He said it in the House.
He said it in the Parliament of St. Lucia.
Parliament of St. Lucia, yeah.
Gave him the recommendation, and Alan Charles had no moral standing to speak on crime or give him solutions or suggestions, and he threw it in the garbage.
Yeah.
Philip just said tonight at that town hall meeting in Otsa, he never made such a statement.
So the Flabo is lying on him.
That is correct. So we have to play that clip so we can demurti Philippe, because that is the modus operandi and that is the DNA of the Labour Party. They lie and lie and lie.
You think they lie? You think Philip Japet especially is lying, or he just say things in the heat of the moment and don't remember what he said and go and say something else?
No. You would remember when Richard Frederick referred to Dr. Merle Clark as a flabozelle.
Yes, he said he did
Philip
not.
he was at the head table. Said he never heard when Richard Frederick said that. You remember that last year?
Yes, I did. I remember that, yeah.
What does that tell you? That Philippe lies deliberately. It's in the DNA of the Labour Party to lie.
That's not
And
good.
the same, but I'm telling you personally, there are a lot of things Buddy said on Newsspin today that I would take the opportunity, I'd profit the opportunity now to debunk. Number one, Sir John Compton never wanted Buddy in his party. It was people like myself, yours truly, who forced the hand of John to bring in Buddy in 2005, 2006. But people like me who defied Sir John Compton and went on Buddy's platform and convinced even flubbos in Castries Central to vote Buddy as an independent candidate. Okay? So when Buddy's trying to get validation and talk about Sir John never wanted Buddy in the United Workers' Party. He made a statement, my presence, y'all want him, I'm giving him to y'all. What y'all get, take. That's what Sir John said. And today I'm living with the regret of imposing Buddy on the backs of
so you were one of them?
I was one of them.
So you got to pay penances for your sins. You got to work harder.
Exactly. I was one of them. When Sir John said, when Sarah Flood resigned and there was a by-election in Castries Central, Philip Laforme tested for the Labour Party. So John said he's not in any bottom purport. He's not contesting. He's not any candidate. We decided of us that, look, we cannot leave that void. And so Buddy was convinced to go up. I was one of those, a UWP supporter and member who defied Sir John, went up on Buddy's platform, campaigned for Buddy. I got flack for that from my own party. But at the time, I saw the political strategy and the merit in doing it. So I am one of a guilty party in imposing Buddy on the people of St. Lucia. And so when Buddy is trying to validate himself and make himself look righteous, everything like you rightly said about Buddy, accusing him of being a money launderer and the list goes, was said by the Labour Party. Kenny Anthony said the entry of Richard Frederick into our St. Lucian politics is the most frightening thing. Kenny Anthony the market step at a Labour Party public meeting. It's not I think you saying it, or Dominic Fady saying it, or Alan Chastney saying it, or Leonard Spidermont saying it. It is his very colleagues who we sit in cabinet with every Monday. And you know what is Buddy, if you listen to that interview with Timothy Polio, he went on to say, I'm coming for you, Dominic Fady, on Thursday. So it tells you that Buddy is using his talk show on Thursday he's weaponizing his talk show to go after public and private citizens. And it's Buddy's habit. So when Buddy is telling you, he wants to see a change in the politics, Buddy has no moral authority to talk about changing political landscape when he's worse. He's guilty of doing. You know what is sad? Over the weekend, and distasteful and disgraceful, Richard Frederick a Facebook post to ask a question. When is Skinny been buried? Is Skinny been buried yet?
Yeah.
How disgraceful that is.
It is.
Skinny is dead. He's a dead. Let his family mourn in peace. To ask a question whether Skinny was buried. What are you trying to say, Richard Frederick?
Yeah.
As for my information, there was a telephone for Skinny, and all preparations are going as we speak to give Skinny and his family that the respect that Skinny deserves, the send that he rightly deserves, and his funeral will be sometime on the February 17th. which is on Monday a week from now.
Yes, that's what because people got to travel too, so it's not. People got to travel,
it's
so that
preparation for Skinny's funeral. It's not that there's any hesitation or difficulty in
or financial problems.
So
that's what he's trying to.
Yes. And he's trying to gloat at it and make political mileage out of a situation like
Ian,
that.
stay on the line for a minute. Stay on the line a minute. I got the clip where Philip Japere said he rejected Mr. Chasney's the opposition proposal. All right, just bear with me. I don't know if you're going to hear it, but just bear with me.
The anti-crime strategies proposed by the opposition UWP will not be considered by the government. Prime Minister Philip Japere indicated that much at Monday's pre-cabinet briefing. While the UWP asserts the recommendations are well-intentioned, the Prime Minister is firm in his belief that they come from a place of mischief.
When the UWP wants to make recommendations to me, they'll make them in the proper way. They'll make them with a view for discussion. I have asked, in fact, when I call for support, I'm ridiculed. So the UWP suggestions are not in good faith. My opinion is that the UWP wants a country to be in chaos. My opinion is that the UWP wishes bad. I believe that every morning when the UWP wake up, they want something wrong to happen to St. Lucia. That's my belief. That's my belief. Because you can't have a country when an opposition party is actually glorifying crime, actually hoping that there are 100 murders in the country, actually hoping and praying for it, actually looking to say that killings in St. Vincent is because of St. Lucia. Highly irresponsible. The United Workers' Party, what they are trying to create chaos, disorder, disunity, confusion in this country because they have lost elections.
Prime Minister Pierre has once again accused the opposition of attempting to halt the country's progress by deliberately spreading misinformation.
I understand criticism. I was in opposition. I understand it. And I welcome criticism. But do it not with things that are obviously misinformation. So I stand by my statement, and I make no apologies for it. I think the opposition is trying to destroy St. Lucia because they've lost elections. And I have make no apologies for it. And then I am not saying all the members, I'm not saying all the UWP supporters, I'm saying the leadership of the United States Party, the leadership. Because I'm sure that there are UWP supporters who want to see St. Lucia progress.
While the UWP has expressed willingness to engage in bipartisan discussions on the issue of crime, the Prime Minister seems disinterested.
I don't know the recommendations, honestly. I read it and I didn't see the recommendations. I saw statements. I didn't see recommendations. I didn't see let's do this and that will happen. I saw bland statements. Like statements. In the opposition, I'll tell you something. The opposition ridicules me when I ask to come and speak. When I say let us sit together to work on it, they ridicule me. They try to. I mean, I can't be ridiculed, but they ridicule me. I'll tell you something. I have to be so careful what I say. Do you know I can't say the word tall or short? I can't say these words. I mean, this is really rough on me. I cannot say tall.
And usher him out.
I can't say it. If I say it, it's a whole story.
And usher him out.
This is so unfair.
Prime Minister Pierre, however, is still asking for solutions to tackle the country's crime problem, this time from civil society. For the DBS News World, I am Zin.
All right, folks. Ian, there you have it. You heard it?
I heard it loud and clear, so I want you to get the clip sometime at your next show of the town hall meeting that the Labour Party had tonight in Oxford. He said he denied not saying that.
So now I'm going to put both of them together.
Exactly.
Right. So everybody heard it themselves tonight that the Prime Minister said he ain't take nothing from them. He didn't see any recommendation, blah, blah, blah. And the opposition want crime. They wake up every morning and it's crime they think of. And you heard the accusations, which are very serious. And they have not gone away. We're going to hold those against him. You know, he will have to answer.
It's the same way where he said during the run-up to the last year general election when he said he will give every St. Lucian $1,500. And when he was challenged by Andrew Paul on his show, What Makes You Mad, he said he never made those statements, and if Andrew can produce the clip. And when Andrew produced the clip, he backtracked or he tried to deflect. That is the nature of Philip here. And that's why I'm saying, to segue a bit with this whole GPH saga or fiasco, it is very sad that up to a day like today, we're in 2025, we do not know what is the content or what's in the GPH agreement. Now we're hearing some startling news or some shocking news that GPH now sold most of the shares to some local people. We want to know who are these local people. Who are those St. Lucians?
Yes, they did.
That GPH sold their shares to. And that is scary. Heritage as a government gave away our Castries Harbor or Castries Port and our Soufrière Port, sold our patrimony for next to nothing. And mind you, the Castries Port and the Soufrière Port were developed by Sir John. Sir John Compton worked hard to build a revenue stream for St. Lucia, and that's where he created Slasper. And Slasper had no fight, like you indicated, and many persons have been saying. Slasper was not in any financial difficulty. Slasper was a thriving company. Slasper used to make at least $1 billion a year in profit. So it was not a situation where they were in any financial constraints or thing. And to just give away our ports to a foreigner, that is very, very sad. And now we're hearing that GPH have the gall and the gonads, like my good friend Rick Wayne would say, to sell their shares to a local people. And it just brings to mind what Brother Champagne on Sky FM has been saying, that he strongly believes that it's some St. Lucian group connected to the Labour Party behind this whole GPH deal. And for this now to be coming out that GPH now sold its shares to some local people, it just solidifies or confirms Champagne's suspicion that this government of the Labour Party and their boys, all they do now is then get rich at the expense of the poor people of St. Lucia. And we have to speak up. We have to demand that we need to see who are those persons, or we want to know who are those local people that GPH sold their shares to. And it just hits me again with this whole Jack Grindberg issue. Remember, our seabed was listed to Jack Grindberg without St. Lucians knowing. For how we don't even know. Up to day like today, the government of St. Lucia is still supporting Jack Grindberg for our seabed. You know, our seabed does not belong to us, St. Lucia.
Oh, that thing has not been rectified as yet?
No. Wow. The St. Lucia government is still in court with Jack Grindberg. As we speak now, our seabed does not belong to the people and government of St. Lucia, courtesy Kenny Anthony and the St. Lucia Labour Party. So we have to be very careful. And I'm just saying to Buddy, segueing again, stop using your talk show on Thursday to go after private citizens.
Yes.
You already said, Frederick, that the police giving you files on private citizens. That in itself is scary. So that means if Buddy have an issue with you, Brother Garfield, he can use his influence in the St. Lucia Police Force and put out your information in public. He can go after you in public. He's weaponizing his talk show on a Thursday to go after private citizens. Look at what he did to Joyce, the vendor. All the ladies' private business was on social, was on TV. All Joycelyn stood up for Standard Ground. She chose to support Alan Chastney, and she protested or she agitated for what she rightly deserves as a citizen when she applied for a boost. And he felt that Joycelyn is in no position to challenge him, and he went on his talk show on a rant and exposed all her private business on his talk show. That cannot be right. In no country, not even next door to us, Barbados, will we find that happening. And the Prime Minister does not have a control. He does not have a hold of Richard Frederick. And so I'm saying to St. Lucian, Richard Frederick is an animal, figuratively speaking, that the St. Lucian Labour Party sadly cannot tame. Yeah. And it's going to get worse and worse as the election draws nearer. You will see Buddy or Richard Frederick getting more desperate, and he will go on the offensive and he will continue his attacks on private citizens.
Thank you so much.
Like Dominic Honorable, they have said, we cannot be intimidated. We have to stand up and we cannot be silent. And our voices must come out forcefully, and we have to stand by each other and ensure that Buddy, his political career must come to an end once and for all.
Thank you, my brother.
Have a blessed
yes, you too. Thank you so much. Yes. So we're going to take 2 more calls after my mother. We're going to take another call, okay? You're on the air, Caribbean American News Media Platform. We do apologize for the long delay.
Good night, Garfield, and your viewers.
Good night, Dr. Ambassador.
Let me tell you that you notice. I don't know if you realize GVD TV has frozen, eh?
Yeah, it's back up now. What we're experiencing here, remotely, is a computer issue. Our computer is overloaded, and we got to get a new one quickly before this one crank out. And as I can see it signaling here, it is still sticking. I can see the signal right now before me. And so let's just hope that we get that rectified. I do apologize.
Right, because my TV is on and I cannot. It's just frozen on your handsome face. Anyway,
thank you so much. Let it stay there.
My point, and no, but I'm sorry that the nation is not hearing, because Newspin is widely listened to, and what really got my goat is this thing that is persistent and going on, and now it's Dominic too. They are not St. Lucians, they're foreigners. Now, you know that the Labour Party did that with Sir John too. That is their modus operandi. That's how they operate. They were saying that Sir John all during the time. Today they're lauding him and they're praising him and they're saying all kinds of things about him. Yet they used to call this man Papa Jab and all kinds of things and say he's not a Lucian. He's a Vinci. But I heard that they say, well, Sir John was born in the sea and he was brought, his next port was St. Lucia as a baby. Alan Chastney was born overseas for medical reasons, and his next port of disembarkment was St. Lucia as a baby. And he had a St. Lucian father. Yeah. Okay? And the same thing with Dominic's father is St. Lucian. So let me tell you, Garfield, how have we sunk to such level in this country, in politics, such a low level of stupidity that we think that this is important for the politics of this country to keep hitting this race thing. How many St. Lucian women, be they UWP or SLP, fly to the United States to make their babies and come back here, or to other countries and come back to St. Lucia?
That's right.
Are they not concerned that when they don't know what their children will want to do today or tomorrow? Are they afraid? The same way I think I heard, was it a clip that was played by Tim, where the Prime Minister is saying, we must be careful what you say, it will come back. Yeah. All their words are coming back to eat them.
Yeah, that's right.
And bite them in the butt and knock them on the head. But he's saying that, how are these Labour Party supporters who are supporting these people with this white man and foreigner thing? How will they feel that their children, when their women and their sisters and their aunties and their mothers are making their children overseas and bringing them to St. Lucia, and tomorrow somebody is telling you your child is not a Lucian? I want to know, when foreign people come to St. Lucia and they two foreign parents and they make their children in St. Lucia, and these children are more St. Lucians than a woman who's a St. Lucian and made her baby in the States and come back with it? Is that really what we're going to deal with in this country? Is that the level we're going to allow our politics? I'm speaking particularly to the young people. Are we accepting this from our politicians? Is that where we're going to go when we are dealing with in a country with medical problems? Serious health deficiencies. We have problems with our ports. We have problems with our airport. Problems with our education system. Problems with our economy, and so many things. We can't. The supermarkets are breaking our backs. Even the more better off ones, those of us, we can't eat the luxuries we were eating before. You know, if all these concerns going on in the country, these are the things that we are going to be nitpicking on and allowing our politicians to get on that. You are a foreigner. Even if you were raised in St. Lucia as a baby, even if your parents are St. Lucians, because you were not born here, and understand, is that what we are going to go? Are we St. Lucians are going to continue to tolerate this foreigner and this Lucian? And I mean, I was somewhere recently, and a guy is looking at me, and you know how they think, oh, Shasna is your God. I know you. I don't know the person.
Wow.
I don't know you. Just man, just meet me on the road. Shasna is your God, and you supporting the white man. I stopped and I said, listen to me. This is St. Lucia, okay? This is a democracy. This is a country that we fight, our forefathers fight their blood and sweat for, to give you the freedom. We have a constitution. I am free to support the devil if I want to.
That's right.
Okay, just like you. And I will tell you something. I did not come and approach you. Do not come in my personal space and walk. I think he was shocked. I turned on him like, wait, because they don't expect, they think they intimidate. I said, do not, and I raised my voice because there were people around me. And I said, do not come in my personal space and stop me. I don't interfere with people. I respect people's rights. I talk politics or policy. I don't give people nape. I don't worry about our politicians or who want to call people names and go in there, who their mother was and their father is and their mother take and their father didn't take and who raped who and who did. I don't have time for that kind of thing. And when people come with me, I'll come with that. I don't even take them on. I deal with policy. I don't interfere. But nobody will interfere with my democratic right in this country and come in my face and stop me. Because I have a right to speak. And I am not supporting any white man because nobody, no Caucasian person is going to accept Alan Chastney as a white man because he has a black father. Okay? And we need to stop this stupidity in this country because too many of your women going overseas and make babies. I have sisters who went overseas and have their children. Don't come and tell me that children born out of St. Lucia to St. Lucian parents and were raised all the time they have understanding in St. Lucia, you calling them foreigners. That a black man making a child if a white woman makes that man a white man, and to try to pretend that we have a colonist. Let me tell you something. When John Compton, bareback, with a cutlass in his hand, went and fight against Dennis Bernard, okay, for adult suffrage in this country, that was a white man who was a colonist and all that. And it's the same John Compton who embraced Alan Chastney. If he thought Alan Chastney was a colonist and had this kind of massa attitude, John Compton would not have embraced Alan Chastney. And he saw Alan Chastney as a future leader. I am not asking you, I am telling you because I was very much involved and at the side of Alan Chastney as a young person mentored by him. We in St. Lucia need to stand up, especially the young people, and say to our politicians, talk to us about the things that are affecting our country. Discuss with each other policies, but don't come with this stupidity and telling us that St. Lucians, persons born outside of St. Lucia and come in St. Lucia as baby to St. Lucian parents and not St. Lucians, and therefore they have no right. Stop this, because we will not take it. We are not stupid. We are not ignorant. And we as St. Lucians were saying, you say there must be a shift in our politics. We are asking you, please, if you cannot stick to your word, we are the people, the populace, are going to teach you a lesson. Thank you, Garfield, and good night.
Thank you so much, Doc. And Doctor is right. You know, to talk about Dominic, to say Dominic is not a citizen of St. Lucia, I think that was very low, because right now you guys are selling citizenship like water all over the world to people who have never come to the country. those who have not contributed anything throughout the years to the development of St. Lucia. But you have been giving away CIP passports, and you thought that the whole CIP discussion has gone out the window and there is no more CIP discussion. But I can tell you, you better be very cautious. All right? Be very cautious. I'm going to warn those of you who are buying St. Lucia citizenship. Listen to the government minister. Listen to the SLP minister. He's saying to you that whether you buy the citizen or not, whether you buy the citizen for 100,000, 400,000, you ain't no citizen. You can't talk to them, those who are born there, because you're not a citizen of the country. You just bought a passport. That's what he's saying, basically. Huh? But I would want him to prove that Dominic is not a citizen of St. Lucia. All right? Our last caller is on the air. Caller, you're on the air. Caribbean American News Media Platform.
Brother Garfield, good evening. Very, very, very great program. Greatest program. Wow.
Thank you. God bless you.
I'm loving it. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. I'm sure all 400 persons listening and the
matter of fact,
thousands
I
on
think
TV
we have
are
about,
enjoying it.
what I'm seeing on my end, we have about 700 live viewers.
Fabulous. Fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? This message needed to get out there. And that is why so many people tuned in tonight. This message needed to get out here. I don't have very much to say, Brother Garfield, except that, everyone has, the contributions were brilliant. They were all truthful. And I applaud everybody who made those contributions tonight. Mrs. Fletcher, wow. Thank you. Thank you for reminding us. Thank you for teaching us, and thank you for telling us. And to everybody else who contributed, thank you. Brother Garfield, there's a tape that I'd like you to play. That's why I said I'm not going to say too much tonight. And it's late. Buddy forgot it was Kenny Anthony who stood up on a platform and said, I will not sit in a cabinet with a murderer, a drug dealer, a money launderer, a criminal, etc., 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 etc. Did he forget? And has he forgotten where Kenny Anthony has sat on which side of the fence and which party that Kenny Anthony has sat with all of his life? But he needs a reminder. So we need to find that tape and play it for him as well. It was not us who called. It was not Flabo who called him that. It was the same people that he's in there with today. And you know why he's in there? Because he realizes that Philip J.P. is such a weak leader that if he pushes and he pushes and he bears patience and he tries, that his dream of becoming the prime minister may, by the stroke of luck, any kind of luck, I don't know what kind, he may become and I will not say what he's always wanted. Words are powerful. He may become what he's always wanted to become. I am not going to say what. People can fill in the blanks. Okay? And that can never happen in St. Lucia. But he can never be what he wants to become in St. Lucia. Thank you, Brother Garfield. Have a good night.
Thank you. Thank you. For Buddy to be prime minister, you got to join one of the parties. And over in the SLP, there have already been a so-called war, because you have new people coming in and being deputy prime minister, and there are those who were there with the party all the years who were just run over. And for Buddy to be accepted and become prime minister or one of the leaders in there, I think you will have a good showdown on your hand, and you might have another episode of Shastney, but this time it might be Philip, or whoever is in the way. So there is a track record, and if people don't want to open their eyes and see what is happening, it's up to them. All right? But here is my rant before I go. There's a caller who called, and I can almost believe that he is not a supporter of this show. He's not a supporter of the agenda. All right? And he first started complaining about my time that I give the callers. And I want to say this to that caller, if he's listening on the air. This platform is not your regular platform. It's not an ordinary platform. I give people time to express themselves, time to speak. Yes, there are times that I want to say, okay, time up, but I allow them to express themselves. Yeah? And the more they make sense is the more time I give them. So I don't want you to call my show to complain about the time I give my people. These people are loyal supporters of the cause. And who else would we want to hear than those who are musicians and singers in our choir? You think I'm going to take a non-musician and a non-choir and just allow him to rant, Chastney is white, Chastney is white, Chastney is white, Chastney is not born in St. Lucia, and I sit down here and listen to you telling me how bad I am, how bad my leader is? No, you must be out of your mind. You must have lost a marble along the way. So don't complain about or call me just to tell me my callers are giving my time because we callers, and then refer to our viewers here on the platform as you all. No, we don't have no U-Haul company here. This is Caribbean American News Media Platform. It's not a U-Haul company. We don't carry cargo. We don't throw garbage. We don't transport garbage. We don't transport any apartment or household appliances. So it's not a U-Haul company we operate here. These are decent citizens who love their country and want good for the country. So don't call and tell me U-Haul. All right, so get it straight. We don't have a U-Haul company. You are welcome to call. You are welcome to call. But I'm not going to give you at least 5 minutes to belittle our political leader. If I do that, I'll be doing injustice to my leader. My responsibility is to stand between my leader and you. My responsibility is to protect my leader, and any good follower would protect their leader. I'm not going to protect him blindly, but I'm not going to put up with anyone telling me how white he is and how crooked he is and how tall he is and how ugly he is and how whatever you say he is. I would not do that. And I really don't want you to just praise him. I want you to give him constructive criticism. He's not perfect, and there will always be opportunity to criticize him. But don't use my platform to tell me why am I supporting him. Betis.
Mwen pas sa pou maji beti sa.
Non de.
Mwen pas sa pou maji beti sa.
All right? This platform is to promote goodwill, to promote the agenda of the United Workers' Party. Yeah? Not the Labour Party agenda. So if you want me to sing according to your music, I can sing that song. I will hang my willow. I will hang my harp on the willow tree. But I will not dance to that music or sing in that choir. Not for now. No, sir. All right? So, folks, this is Caribbean American News Media Platform. It's been a pleasure to be here with you. I want to thank all our viewers, our callers. I want to thank GVD TV. I know we had some issues there. And just keep us in prayer that we get our new system up and running. I realize that I honestly, I'll confess that I overload the system, and the external is under pressure. The other external is under pressure. Our storage capacity is running out, and I I've seen this play out before, where we might have to be off the air for a little bit so that we can get a new computer system back up and running ever so often because of the pressure that the amount of files and stuff that we run through this thing, then we're going to have these issues. But keep us in your prayer, and may God bless you as you sleep. Let us go out there and be kind to each other. Let's make a difference in our society. We can do it, friends. Let us be good to each other, and let us stay on the issues. We are stronger on the issues. We are not stronger with MAPWE, because I always see everybody have MAPWE that they can give each other. But let us stick on the issues. We have healthcare. We have a healthcare crisis. We have road infrastructure issues. We have insurance issues when it comes to health. There's the airport. There is crime. Folks, there's a whole list of issues that we need to spend our time on. And these issues, if we continue on them, we can help to affect change in the nation, making St. Lucia a better place. I'm not saying that St. Lucia is worse off. St. Lucia is not a nice place. No, we can make St. Lucia, we can make the region a better place if we practice being good citizens. All right? Good citizens is what we need in our nation. God bless you, folks. This has been State of the Nation.
Welcome to Caribbean American News Media State of the Nation with Garfield Oliver. The news you report. Let's get to work.
I'm something behind the scene. I know. I also have something to say. I won't say it now about the crime in St. Lucia. I'll say it at some point. And you all may have to deal with me, because I know what's happening behind the scenes. I know all that pretense about crime. I know what's happening behind the scenes. I also have something to say. I won't say it now about the crime in St. Lucia. I'll say it at some point. And you all may have to deal with me, because I know what's happening behind the scenes. I know all that pretense about crime and who's pushing crime. I know what's happening behind the scene. I'm something behind the scene. I know.
The sky is falling.
I also have something to say. I won't say it now about the crime in St. Lucia. I'll say it at some point. And you all may have to deal with me, because I know what's happening behind the scenes. I know all that pretense about crime and who's pushing crime. I know what's happening behind the scenes. I'm something behind the scene. I know.
The sky is falling.
I also have something to say. I won't say it now about the crime in St. Lucia. I'll say it at some point. And you all may have to deal with me, because I know what's happening behind the scenes. I know all that pretense about crime and who's pushing crime. I know what's happening behind the scene. What's happening behind the scene? I know.
This shot fella.
I also have something to say. I won't say it now about the crime in St. Lucia. I'll say it at some point. And you all may have to deal with me, because I know what's happening behind the scenes. I know.
The sky is falling.
I know all that pretense about crime and who's pushing crime. I know what's happening behind the scenes.
The sky is falling.
What's happening behind the scene? I know.
I heard this shot fella.
I also have something to say. I won't say it now. I'll say it at some point. And you all may have to deal with me, because I know what's happening behind the scenes. I know.
The sky is falling.
All that pretense about crime and who's pushing crime. I know what's happening behind the scene.
You are viewing Caribbean American News Media on YouTube and on Facebook. You can also find us on 360 Radio, Your host for tonight is Garfield Oliver. Let's get to work.